Welcome to Spark Stories, where entrepreneurs and experts share their brand story and how they found their spark, the spark that started it all. Hello, this is Sanjay Toure here, and I am producing for Spark Stories with Clarissa.
Hi, Sanjay. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good. You excited to be here this Monday?
I am excited. We have two beautiful ladies in here.
Yay!
Oh, I like her already.
I'm really excited.
Yes, I'm excited to be here as well. We have in the studio with us today Miss Catherine Lautenbacher, with Leadership Sandy Springs, and Terry Crook with Illegal Crook Productions. And we are just excited to hear who you are, what you do, and why it matters. And Catherine's going to tell us all about Leadership Sandy Springs and what she has going on. And we're just excited for you to be here today.
Thank you so much. Leadership Sandy Springs is a community leadership organization. There's probably one in your town. They are similar but not related, and our goal is to get people to be productive community members. We want them to participate, bring their skill sets into the arena, help nonprofits, help education, help in the government, just in whatever ways they have the skills, and share their leadership.
Okay. How long has Leadership Sandy Springs been around?
It started in 1986. So we graduated our first class in 1987, and we're going strong. And this even predates our cityhood. There was a real sense of city well before we had an official Sandy Springs designation.
All right. Before you came to Sandy Springs, where were you? Are you from Sandy Springs?
No, we moved here from Charlotte, my husband and I. About 19 years ago.
19 years ago. It's very exciting. Sandy Springs is a great community, and you have a lot of community involvement. So what are some ways that people can get involved with leadership or just within the community as a whole?
Leadership produces a number of community events. On April 27th, we will have Volunteer for a Better Sandy Springs Day. That is just outdoor raking and putting down pine straw for our local schools and nonprofits. We'll get hundreds of people to sign up for that. So that is one opportunity that we organize. You can sign up on our website. In the summer, we will have Movies by Moonlight. These are outdoor movies at our new City Springs complex. And that's a lot of fun, but it requires a lot of volunteers. So those are three more opportunities to get involved. And then certainly, as Clarissa knows, you can go through our leadership program. We have a 9-month training program. It starts in September, ends in May, and Clarissa will be a proud 2019 graduate.
Yes, best class ever.
Best class ever, but if you
Not technically, right? Because we didn't win the cup.
we don't score it that way. You're all the best class ever. But the next best class ever is their applications are due March 15th. So there's still time.
Oh, so that's really soon. That's in a couple weeks.
Yes.
So what is the application process like?
There is a fillable Word 3-page document with a couple of short essays attached with your resume. We're looking for people who live or work in Sandy Springs or the perimeter area who want to get more involved in their community. And we're going to give you a full day learning on city government, a full day on education, a full day on human services, a full day on the environment. You're going to look at all different aspects. Even if you've lived here for 20 or 30 years, you're going to find a lot of things that you don't know about the city. And then we're going to find a way to plug you in.
Very exciting. So the application is due on March 15th.
Yes.
And where can they find the application?
LeadershipSandySprings.org.
Oh, that's easy enough. LeadershipSandySprings.org. And the type of applicants you're looking for, you said they're usually civic?
Well, we're looking for all types of applicants.
Okay.
We're going to have a fireman in the class. We're going to have a policeman. We will have attorneys. We will have folks who've recently retired. We'll have educators, principals of the local schools. We'll have all kinds of people running nonprofits. And we like to have that mix of people. So
it's a pretty diverse group.
Absolutely. And age and in all different ways.
Okay. So the ages vary from maybe young professional to retiree. So you do have a really good mix so that you can get strong leadership skills.
We do. And everybody learns from each other.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, being able. Can you give us a little insight on some of the maybe the leadership days and what that is like? So how you pull those people and the resources together for programming.
All right, I'll talk about Government Day, which we just had in February.
Yes.
We schedule Government Day during the Georgia legislative session, which is the first couple of months of the year. And we go down to the Capitol. We get a room down there, and we invite all our legislators. So we have 4 House members, 4 Senate members who directly impact Sandy Springs. So we have invited those people to come stop by and chat with our class so you can see how directly connected we are to local government leadership. They will take your phone call. They will return your email. They want to hear from constituents. So that's a nice piece. We also got to have the Secretary of State stop by, brand new Secretary of State, and he took our questions. And we got to tour around. They are an ongoing session, so we got to walk into the galleries and see votes and activity, what folks are doing right there. So that was our morning of Government Day. And then our afternoon, we headed to Fulton County, the county that serves Sandy Springs, and we heard from our Fulton County Commissioner and our county manager about what services the county provides and what the challenges are, ways to get involved. We heard about the ATL, which is the new transportation umbrella that will include MARTA and all the other agencies so that we have one coordinated response to transportation in Atlanta. I think a lot of people, as they apply to our class, they say biggest thing they want to change is transportation, which is a little challenging without building new roads. So we're looking for transit options, and it's just good to know who's out there working on that, and the ATL is. And then the final piece we had on that day was to visit a judge in Fulton County Superior Court. She lives in Sandy Springs, and she shared her work, what challenges she sees, and how she's trying to make the world a better place. So
That's awesome.
that was a big full day.
It was a full day. I learned a lot about government and how we operate. And when we're not using government days, we do education days and just showing a lot of community impact. And we work partner with a lot of different nonprofits. Can you share with us some of the nonprofits we have here in Sandy Springs and how leadership is involved?
Absolutely. Education Day, we will always talk to Sandy Springs Education Force. That brings in resources to schools. Right now, they're planning a large STEAM event: science, technology, engineering, arts, and
Mathematics.
Yes, and they are bringing in speakers, and they are holding workshops, and it is a giant event for high schoolers. And we have folks on their board have gone through our program, or they're going through, or we're a good pool of people to look for board members for that education group. When we talk about Environment Day, which is coming up in April, we'll partner with the Sandy Springs Conservancy and have the head of that agency talk to us. Nonprofit Day or Human Services Day is coming up in March, and we will plan through Community Assistance Center, who will host us in the afternoon. Community Assistance Center serves residents of Sandy Springs and Dunwoody in an emergency situation. They have had a job loss or a job reduction or an illness that has caused a crisis in the family, and they can provide rent assistance and food and utilities assistance. They would be a place for clothing as well, and they have a thrift shop. So that's a great place to not only volunteer, but to donate to. Your clothes could be used locally. Your food could go locally. Sometimes folks do food drives, and then they take their food to the Atlanta Community Food Bank downtown. Well, the Atlanta Community Food Bank ships food up to us. You don't go there to get food. You come to a local agency. So I'll just save you the time, and you can just come up to Roswell Road there. So on Human Service Day, we'll also talk to Every Woman Works.
Oh, great.
Yes, we have a class member from Every Woman Works this year.
Miss Stacy.
Stacy, yes, and she is bringing job skills to women and veterans and just the they need a little lift, that's a great place to volunteer also if you have good skills in interviewing and you could help women. Wonderful. Dress for Success is one that just moved into our area, helping with the clothing aspect of that. We have the Link Counseling, which is affordable mental health counseling. And, well, see, now you put me on.
I know there's so many great agencies that you've partnered with at the community. And again, whether you're coming through the leadership or just out in the community, there's always some way to get involved. And we're just looking for strong leaders like you, Catherine. And we jumped right in, and you didn't even tell us the great skill sets that you bring to the table. Share with us a little bit about who you are.
I am... No, I guess I grew up as a vagabond, as a Navy brat, and I got an engineering degree, went right into the Air Force, and I worked as an intelligence officer in North Carolina for 4 years. And then I got out and worked as an engineer at a manufacturing plant, and then took some time off with kids. And when you're home with kids, you have little tiny pockets of time. So
just tiny,
if you're lucky. And that's when I started getting into nonprofit work. I could work at the schools, and then I worked at Community Assistance Center, and then the kids get bigger, and I have a little more time. And then I found, wow, working in nonprofit where you can be, I don't know, feel good about your work every day. Boy, that's hard to walk away from. So now I'd gone through the leadership class in 2011.
Your class of 2011.
Yes. Okay. I went through as a board member for Community Assistance Center. And then a year later, I got onto the staff, and I do their programming. I program for the current class as well as for the alumni and then the special events that we have. It's very gratifying. It's a wonderful community. It's a community from top to bottom. People want to get involved. City staff wants people involved, to, your neighbors who get involved. We have there's Council of Neighborhoods, for instance, as a nonprofit that they just all want to work together. It's a friendly and cooperative city, and we also run a Sandy Springs Civic Roundtable, which brings together all the nonprofits monthly so they can talk to each other. So when we all know what we're doing, maybe we don't duplicate efforts. Maybe we piggyback off and push. So, well, that's
how you became involved
Yes.
with the Leadership Sandy Springs. Again, a very great organization, great community, and again, a lot of agencies are out there for us to partner with, and when we do have those little pockets of time to go out and volunteer. Like I said, you have, is it Moonlight?
Movies by Moonlight.
Movies by Moonlight. You have the big community day that's coming up. That's next
April 27th.
Oh, wow. That'll be here before we know it. Time is moving swiftly.
It is.
So, yeah, that's a good way to get involved. And we have a new wonderful facility. Can you tell us a little bit about City Springs?
Well, City Springs is built on an old Target lot. There was a Target and this giant parking lot. And the city was looking for a center to just have a place for community to gather. And they bought that, and it was years in the works, but now it is a performing arts center with about 1,100 seats. There are there's a black box theater, and then other smaller rooms, a terrace overlooking the city, and there are open spaces for the community. So if you wanted to meet somebody or have a meeting with just a few people, there are open and free areas that you can go into. They want you to come in to City Springs. So all your city government's there, and the fire department is there, and underground parking and a green space area. That
beautiful.
Yes, real grass. So there are concerts there, all kinds of activities. You would definitely want to get on the city's newsletter list so you can see all the things that are coming up.
Yeah, I've been in Sandy Springs since 2007, and I love everything about it. I can't picture or imagine myself being in another neighborhood. Like I said, the people are great opportunities here. So I'm glad to be a part of Leadership Sandy Springs and a part of this community. It's been really great for me. So I want to thank you for sharing who you are, what you do, and why it matters. And next, we're going to talk to our next guest, Miss Terry Crook.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Miss Terry. Miss Terry, will you share with our audience who you are, what you do, and why it matters?
Well, I'm the only legal crook in this room today.
I knew she was going to open up with that line. I knew it. Yeah, she is the only legal crook. Tell us why you're a legal crook.
I'm a legal crook because, that's usually my tagline. Because when I was young, I was an Army brat also. And we would travel. Well, you were a Navy brat. I was an Army brat. So when we would travel, when you're new, you have to stand up, give your name, where you're from. You're a new student. Well, every time I would stand up and say my name, kids would tease me, okay? Oh, she's a crook, hide your book. And I would be so upset. And one day I went home crying to my dad. I would just cry, why couldn't my name be Johnson, Jefferson or Thomas, something other than crook? And my dad asked me, he said, do you want to be like everybody else? And I said, yes. I thought about it. And I said, no. He said, because you're unique. And so the more he talked and shared that information with me, the more I began to see. He said, you want to rise above. You don't want to be like everybody else. So ever since then, and then when of course, as I got older and went college and start working with the government and having a name crook when you work with the government, using that tagline really worked for me.
Right. Especially, can you share with us what agency you worked for?
Sure. I worked with the Internal Revenue Service. So having a name like Crook wasn't easy.
Yeah, working. Yeah, they always, when you told me that you work for the IRS, and I said crook, how ironic is that?
Right.
Well, I know today I would like for you to share us about Happy Place Leadership.
Yes. Well, Happy Place Leadership. Of course, when I was working with the Internal Revenue Service, I was in leadership and I taught leadership classes. And so I always wanted to help women, others, but primarily women, to help lead them. But one of the things that I found is that a lot of people who are in leadership positions aren't necessarily happy about being in that position. So I created Happy Place Leadership, where people can be content because you're leading from a happy place. You are recognizing your weaknesses, focusing on your strength, maximizing your strengths, and then focusing on leading, being a powerful leader from a happy place so that you can lead others to be happy in what they are doing, even leading within yourself, being happy. Because if you're not happy with yourself and if you can't lead yourself, how are you going to lead others?
That's true. That is so true. And you like leading women over the age of 40.
Yes.
Oh, wow. How is that?
Ooh,
How did you choose that as a niche?
I chose it because I'm living it. I am a credible witness of how you can lead being over 40. But one of the things that I wanted to do and lead, the reason why I chose women over 40, because that's the time when we start thinking, we start looking at ourselves and wondering, oh, I've entered the twilight zone, the zone of I'm getting older, and some people think you're old at 40 and 50 and so forth, and I say no, that's when you get better. Okay, I don't call people over 40, women over 40, golden girls. I said, baby, you just entered a platinum.
So we went from golden to platinum.
The platinum age, okay? Because that's when it gets right.
And so that's when they find their second win.
That's when they get their second win. And so what I tell people is that it's only halftime. You're still in the game. Don't count yourself out. You can get your second win. Similar to what the Patriots did when Tom Brady went, when they were losing, a couple of times when they played against the Atlanta Falcons when they were going to the Super Bowl and they were behind. And I knew this past Super Bowl, I said, Brady got that same look. And when he went into the locker room and came back out, okay, picture this now, two minutes left. I said, that's a lot of time for Brady. And he was sitting on the sidelines just as calm, just as calm as he wanted to be, just waiting on the coach to say, okay, it's time for the offense to go in. Tom got out there, and he looked at his receivers, and they were like this. They were like looking eye to eye, like, I got you. Okay. And before you know it, they won. It's all about attitude. If Tom Brady had not believed in himself, and his teammates not believed in themselves, and they believed in each other as a team, they would have counted themselves out, and they would not have been the Super Bowl champions, and Tom Brady would not have been the oldest quarterback, age 41, to ever win a Super Bowl. So that is a story, and all that did was just, it just complemented or confirmed what I say, is that it's all about a mindset.
All about a mindset. So Tom Brady went into the locker room, he refocused,
honey.
got clarity, came out with a new play.
Talk to his coach now, because we have to do the same thing. We have to go into our locker rooms and come and talk to our coaches. Now, some refer to your coach as God, some call it the universe. Whatever you call it, you got to go in to your Zen room and talk to your coach so that you can come out and have that same attitude that Tom Brady had.
So are you coaching women through this process?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things that I do, I sit down and I have women sit down and do self-reflection, because it's all about the view of you, okay? And we sit down and we look at what is causing fears about moving forward, because we all have them. Shoot, I'll admit I had them too, okay? Because sometimes you have a tendency to believe the hype. Oh, you're too old to do this. You're too old to do that, okay? But it's all about perspective. And so I sit down and I have people, I take them to an exercise about releasing these fears. First of all, you got to address them before you can release them. And then we sit down and we put together a plan. And because like in sports, you got to have a game plan. You just can't go out there and say, we're going to win. You got to have a game plan on how you're going to win. So we sit down and we come up with what your passion is. What is truly your passion? And it's quite easy to come up with. But a lot of times we as women, particularly over 40, we're so busy helping other people that we don't get there. So we sit down and we come up with a plan. What are your goals? Your short-term goals? What type of activities will lead you to that? And then I have them to come up with an accountability partner. And so that's the first step in the process.
How important is accountability when you're going through the coaching process?
Oh, it is so important because, you know, if you don't have anybody to do checks and balances with you, you may not stay on track. Okay, so it's very critical to have that somebody that you can report to and say, yes, I did it. And then you all can have little small celebrations as you're checking different things off your list.
Yeah, it's good to celebrate.
Yes, it is.
It is great to celebrate. So it sounds like you're a woman of celebration. What keeps you motivated?
What keeps me motivated is when I see the smiles on women's faces when that light bulb comes on, that they have rediscovered what their passion is. You know, that passion that they have tucked away in their drawer because they've been so busy helping everybody else and nurturing everybody else that they put themselves to the side. But once that light bulb comes on and they realize, yes, this is something I've always loved and I'm doing it. And I just feel like a brand new person. That brings me joy.
Okay. So what do you think, Terry, are some of the factors that keep women over 40 from pursuing their dreams?
Their view of themselves and believing the hype of others. And also, because when you're so used to doing and helping everybody else and not really focusing on yourself, you get lost in that. You know, and sometimes we think that that's our primary goal is to continue to help others. And we don't mean ourselves any harm. It's just that we get into that nurturing mode of helping other people. And then not only do we do that, we start believing the fears and focusing more on the fears than our future and that you still have a future. So I believe a lot of that prevents people from moving forward.
Okay. I know within your field, you wear a lot of different hats.
Yes.
You're an MC.
Yes.
An author, a speaker, motivational. How do you balance it all?
Well, I've been balancing all my life. But the good thing is now that I am retired from working with the Internal Revenue Service. And it's so funny because I was doing a lot of this when I was working for the Internal Revenue Service and cannot believe that now that I'm retired, I did all of that. But now I'm really pushing forward to help people full time and to get to that ultimate goal and taking it to different platforms. The book was the first platform. Speaking was another platform. And then now I'm working on, I've just recorded 2 pilot shows for my television show. So we're working on that to take it to another level to really help women, as they say, get their groove back, but develop their passion, their dreams. Mm-hmm.
So it's more than just halftime for you, right?
It's more than just
more
halftime.
than just halftime. All right. Well, thank you, Terry, for sharing with us. Tell us the name of your book and how we can find it.
Okay, the name of my book is It's Only Halftime, Your Playbook to Your Second Win, WIN, and the D is in parentheses, honey, because you're getting your second win in breathing, and then you're getting your second win in life when you're winning in life.
Oh, that is awesome, Terry.
Yes.
I'm sure your book is going to motivate many.
And you can go to Amazon.com. You can go to my website, www.terrycrook, and that's TerryCrook.com. And you can go there and order the book through Amazon.com.
All right. Well, that's an exciting way to find Terry at TerryCrook.com. And then, Catherine, back over to you. How can we apply for leadership?
You are going to go onto the website, and it'll be leadershipsandysprings.org, and you will look for the adult program, nominate or apply, and you will click on there. And we're going to highly encourage that you get someone who, if you know an alumnus from the program, to nominate you, to write exactly what it is that's great about you, because that will help us determine. We're going to get more applicants than we're going to have spaces. We have about 36 spaces and not more. So it's a competitive process.
It is.
And we would, we welcome you to apply.
If you shop in Sandy Springs, does that qualify you?
I think that may get a little buzz. I don't know. We'll let the committee decide on that one. Is good to determine.
Let me mention the youth program, too, because high school rising juniors and sophomores can apply, and they run a very similar program. I think their deadline's pretty close. You can find that under the youth tab on our website, and they will do, for instance, Human Services Day. We'll do it with the youth this year, but they will have a city government day, little public safety, environment. They're going to go through the same sorts of things to try to get that leadership skill sparked that early in that high school career.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's really good. Before we end the show, I always like to ask, what gives you your spark?
Well, growing up, moving around, Terry, you probably felt this too, rootless and always a new person. And I never ran into somebody I knew at the grocery or the airport or what. I just didn't. I don't have any friends from elementary school. Whichever one of the many I went to. I love being grounded here, and I love being a part of making it a better place to live. I don't want to move, and I want everybody else to feel this joy of living in this area that I feel. And that comes from involvement. It doesn't come from driving through. I mean, shopping's good, and I'll say shop local, shop the small stores. And that's one aspect. What if you knew that store owner and knew what it went through to be that owner of Kudzu or Breadwinner Cafe or Brooklyn Cafe?
Yes.
Just those are good stories, and they're great community partners. They donate. They hold charity fundraisers there. They're wonderful, and I see us getting together, just closing all these gaps, and we're different, and we're going to want some different things, but because we live or work in the same place, we got a lot of commonality.
Yes.
We want the roads to go. We want the police to show up and be on our side. We want a lot of the same things. So the more we all get to know each other in this diverse group, the better this place is to live. So it motivates me every time. I get excited that people are going to go through the leadership class. I'm excited that Clarissa's doing it. I'm excited that the next group is going to come through and learn about this and then participate.
All right. Sounds good. Terry, what gives you your spark?
Well, what gives me my spark is whenever I'm helping someone and the light, as I stated before, and the light bulb comes on, and just knowing that, like just talking right now, and there's someone out there over 40 years old that's thinking about this program that sounds awesome, and that's saying that, you know what, it's not too late for me to get involved. to be a part of this program and go ahead and start leading my own life and doing the things that I really want to do, that it's not too late. It's just halftime. I'm still in the game. And my parents also have inspired me, because both of my parents got their college degrees in their 40s.
Oh, wow.
My mother was diagnosed with cancer, and she was a two-time cancer survivor. She had breast cancer. She also had cancer in her knee, and she had to have her leg amputated. And so she had her leg amputated when she was in her 40s. But she did not let that become her last walk in life. She got fitted for a prosthesis, and when I tell you she would walk and she would dance, she continued to enjoy life, because she too believed that it was only halftime, that she was still in the game. And then there was this man that back in 1956 that really touched me, because he was fighting to go to the Olympics. He broke his hand. And, when you break your hand, that means you won the fight, but you can't qualify to go on. Okay. So, because the Olympics only comes every 4 years, but if you break your hand, you're supposed to qualify to go on to be in the Olympics. So here he is standing there going, I'm so old. I'm older now. In 4 years, I'm going to be older. Do I keep going? And he decided to keep going. And as a result, in 1960, this man, my dad, Edward Crook Jr., stood there as the Olympic gold medalist, middleweight champion, standing next to his teammates, Wilbur McClure and Muhammad Ali, because he believed that it was still halftime.
Wow.
And he was still in the game. It was only halftime. He was still in the game. So my parents have been the biggest motivator for me to stay in the game. Don't let age become a factor. He was 31 years old, and he is today still the oldest Army boxer to have ever won a gold medal.
Oh, that is a wonderful story and motivating.
Yes.
So definitely where you can find some spark and some energy there. Well, ladies, I really want to thank you for sharing with us who you are, what you do, and why it matters. And I look forward to seeing what comes out of Leadership Sandy Springs and what's the best to come for Terry Crook. All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Spark Stories. If you're looking for more help in gaining focus, come check out our website where you can find episode show notes, browse our archives, and access free resources like worksheets, trainings, events, and more. It's all at www.shesparks.com.